What's going on, everybody? I'm excited because Friday night Knicks basketball is back, Summer League edition. I'm ready to see Trevor Keels, John Montero, Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, and Jericho Sims play for the blue and orange tonight. If you're ready to watch the Knicks at 8 p.m. Eastern, I want you to go down right now and like this video. You are watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and we have a loaded show for everybody tuned in today. But first, I want to tell you about our presenting sponsor, Aura, an all-in-one digital safety tool that'll help you stay protected online. We'll tell you more about them later in the show, but you can get started with a 14-day free trial at aura.com/chatsports. I'll have the link to that in the comments and description of this video. But in today's show, we got some Derrick Rose trade rumors to break down. They're starting to leak out there. Twitter has gone crazy. There's a team that's interested, according to the reports. We'll break all that down. And then at the tail end of the show, we'll talk about Cam Reddish versus Quentin Grimes, because Ian Begley reported that there could be a shakeup in the Knicks starting backcourt, and that might mean Evan Fournier is the odd man out. So Knicks fans have been arguing Quentin Grimes versus Cam Reddish, who should start. But first, let's start with those Derrick Rose trade rumors. He's been mentioned in trade talks throughout the offseason for the New York Knicks. He's on a 2-year deal worth about $28 million left. He's got $14 million due this year, but next year is a team option. So if a team traded for him, he would be on an expiring deal. And the reports are the New York Knicks are still shopping him. They were shopping him prior to the NBA draft, trying to move up, trying to get an asset back for him, but that didn't work out. But NBA Trade Report, an account on Twitter that has about 15,000 followers, has been really active during the NBA offseason, and they've been right about a good number of stuff. They said, sources, the Knicks continue to field calls on point guard Derrick Rose. The belief is Rose will be traded by the start of training camp. And that makes sense because there is just a log jam at the guard and wing spot of this team coming off the bench. You got Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish. If Evan Fournier comes off the bench, you got him. I want to see Miles McBride play this year. So there's a log jam, and maybe trading Derrick Rose would clear up some minutes for the young guys. We're going to break all that down, but first, I want to let you guys know if a Derrick Rose trade happens, we are going to be breaking it down on this channel. New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, youtube.com/Knicks TV. Before NBA draft night, this channel was at 6.6 thousand subscribers. And 22 videos later, we're up to almost 8.8 thousand subs. I want to thank everybody that's gone down and hit that big red button. And if you're wondering why, it's because we put out videos every single day around the New York Knicks, sometimes multiple videos. So if you love the Knicks and you're looking for another way to get content, we're your one-stop shop. Go down right now and hit that big red button. Trading Derrick Rose is a complicated topic because what he's been for the New York Knicks these past 2 years, he's been a very important piece. When he got traded, in that awesome trade that Leon Rose pulled off, where Derrick Rose came to the Knicks and Dennis Smith Jr. in a second-round pick went to Detroit, and Derrick Rose came over and was arguably the most productive player on the team behind Julius Randle. In the 2021 season, he averaged 15 points per game, 4 assists, and was extremely efficient and kind of reinvented himself as a mid-range jump shooter who can get hot from three, 48% from the deck, 41% from three, and then he carried that over into 2022 and had a great year before the injuries hit. 12 points, 4 assists, still 45% from the field, still efficient from three. But it's what I saw in the playoffs back in 2021 against the Atlanta Hawks when he was thrusted into the starting lineup. He played lights out in the 5 games against the Hawks, averaged 19.4 points per game, 5 assists, extremely efficient, almost 50% from the field, 47% from three. Yes, 47% from three. He had games of 26 points and 30 points, and he just saved this team time and time again when they had to go get a bucket in the fourth quarter, not just the playoffs. Derrick Rose was the guy that they relied on. He created the offense. He drove and kicked to open three-point shooters. He calmed the offense down in the fourth quarter. He was so important to this team's success the past year and a half. Trading him would suck. But when you look at the logjam and how many bodies the Knicks have, we got the guards on the left, the strictly the point guards, and the wings and the guards, whatever you want to call them, whatever tickles your fancy is cool with me. But Brunson, Quickly, Rose, and Miles McBride, that's 4 guys that can play the 1 or the 2. Then you have Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish, and Evan Fournier, as well as your starter, R.J. Barrett, who are going to be fighting for those minutes at the backup 2 guard, the backup 3, and maybe the starting 3. Trading Derrick Rose would clear up minutes for those young guys. And the Knicks have to ask themselves this question when it comes to trading Derrick Rose. What is the objective of this season? Is it to go out and compete for a championship? That sounds a little bit unrealistic in my opinion. I love that. I'm a die-hard New York Knicks fan. But if you think that's the reasonable expectation, you keep Derrick Rose. But if this year is about building and retooling and getting ready for the future, it might be time to move on from him because he is getting older. He's an injury-prone player. He's an expiring deal, and he's taking up minutes from the young guys. I love Derrick Rose. I don't want to have that misconstrued. He is the heartbeat of this team. He's a leader. But does it make sense to keep him? I saw this trade idea on the internet, and I wanted to see how you guys felt about it. We know that the Bucks have been interested in Derrick Rose. They need a guy to come off the bench and carry the offense when guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo aren't out there, or the other players and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton are having an off night, or are hurt, or not on the court. They need a guy that can come in and get buckets off the bench. Derrick Rose makes sense. And the Knicks in this trade would get a good young piece in Grayson Allen, who's still under 25 years old. He's a 3-and-D specialist, and he plays tough. He might step on a couple people. I'm not down with that, but I think you would fit into this young New York Knicks culture, and they would cut George Hill. He is just a salary match in this deal. We're going to continue to break all this down, but I want to ask you this question before we talk more about Derrick Rose and Cam Reddish and Quentin Grimes. Would you make this trade? It would suck to see Rose go, but does it need to happen? Type A for accept, or you can go down and type D for decline. One thing you don't want to decline is Aura, and starting with the 14-day free trial at aura.com/chatsports. You do more online than ever, and Aura does more to keep you safe. Look, you don't want to have your debit card hacked into like I did. It sucked. I had to call a whole bunch of people. My card was disabled. I had to get a new card, and it sucked. And that wouldn't have happened if I got started with Aura, which you should today, because you get near real-time alerts on suspicious credit inquiries. And if I would have got that when they spent $600 in some clothing store in Oregon, I would have been able to cancel my card right away, and Aura will make sure your online information does not get stolen. Start today, aura.com/chatsports. I want to break this Derrick Rose trade down from both sides. 3 reasons I think it's a good idea for the Knicks to trade him, and then 3 reasons I think it's not, or a good reason to keep him at this point. To trading him, it clears up minutes for younger guys. Guys like Immanuel Quickley can become the first guard off the bench and really be the point guard and floor general of that second unit. I love the duo that Quickley and Rose had when they would come off the bench, but I think it's time for Immanuel Quickley to step up and be that guy coming off the bench. It sucks, but he's an injury-prone player. He had 2 ankle surgeries last year, missed pretty much the entire season, only played like 30 games. And at this point, can we really depend on Derrick Rose night in and night out? And he might want a ring. And what I mean by that is if Derrick Rose goes up to Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose and says, yo, I'm 33, 34 years old. I love the team we have here. I think we can compete for the playoffs. I don't know if a ring is, in our grasp or reach. Can you guys trade me to a team that I can go ring chase for? I don't think that's Derrick Rose's style, but if he wants to play for a competitor, I think he's earned it from the Knicks' trust in Tom Thibodeau to be granted that opportunity. It would suck, but I think he's earned it. Reasons to keep Derrick Rose. He's still a damn good basketball player. When he comes off the bench, the Knicks' energy and offense completely changes. He's the only guy that I feel like Julius Randle has enough respect for on the roster to not demand the ball from him. He'll let D. Rose cook. He'll let him go to work in the mid-range and hit the spot up and pull up threes and get to the rack and finish with all the flair that Derrick Rose does. And he's a leader and a mentor for the young guys. What he's done for Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley cannot be described in just a couple of words. He's been a guy they can lean on. He showed them the ropes. And ever since he came to the New York Knicks, those 2 guys have started to play better. And the ties to Jalen Brunson. Brunson calls Derrick Rose his OG because when Brunson's dad coached for the Bulls under Tom Thibodeau, those were the prime years of Derrick Rose. And Jalen Brunson used to go to all the practices. He would practice with him occasionally, and that's where he got to know Derrick Rose. Maybe him and D. Rose, Jalen Brunson and Rose have talked about playing together in New York. You don't want to upset Brunson after you just signed him. And he's an expiring deal, which makes him, very attractive to a team trying to, accept $14 million and then get off that money next year. But when you talk about what direction this Knicks team is going, it's all about youth. And those days are behind Derrick Rose. He's not that young, spry athlete that was the youngest MVP to ever win the award in Chi-Town. You got guys like McBride, R.J. Barrett, Reddish, Grimes, Quickly, Sims, Toppin, Robinson, Hartenstein, and Brunson, 10 guys, all under the age of 25. And if you keep Derrick Rose on this roster, those players are not going to be able to get enough minutes to go out and eat and continue to get better and blossom into the players that they're supposed to be. I want to see Emmanuel Quickly play 20 minutes per night. I want to see Grimes, Reddish, and all those guys eat. And this is the Knicks' projected roster and lineup with Derrick Rose. And you can see how crowded that bench unit is. Your backup guards are Quickly and Derrick Rose. And you have Cam Reddish, and Evan Fournier might be coming off the bench. We have a report on that in a second. Then Toppin and Gibson at the 4, and Hartenstein and Sims at the 5. If you start Quentin Grimes, how are you going to give all these minutes to Rose, Quickly, Reddish, and Fournier? Or if you start Fournier, where's Grimes, Quickly, Rose, and Reddish going to get the minutes? It's not enough minutes, and the Knicks have too many bodies that need the minutes, so they need to make a move. Is it trading Derrick Rose? I don't know, and it would suck to see it happen, but I think it might be the right move. I wouldn't do it for that Bucks trade because I don't think you need to bring a player back, or you're in the same situation that you were prior to trading Derrick Rose. You need to trade him for a future pick, maybe somewhere that gives you a heavily protected first-round pick, or multiple second-round picks, or a project player, or something like that. Adding someone that needs to get minutes in this rotation doesn't make all that much sense. And that's why we're talking about trading Derrick Rose. It would suck. I loved seeing him in the blue and orange. He was awesome the first time. He was even better the second time with the Knicks. So I want every New York Knicks fan right now to go down in the comments and light up the comment section. Show some love to Derrick Rose. Shout out Derrick Rose. He's nice. If you know, you know. Type number 4 in the comments section right now. A rose resprouted in the garden. It was awesome to see. Salute to Derrick Rose. I want everyone to type 4 in the comments right now. Last part of today's show. Cam Reddish versus Quentin Grimes. This has Knicks Twitter and all Knicks fans in arms. You're either on Cam Reddish's side or you're on Quentin Grimes' side. You can't support both. That's what it seems like. You got to pick a side and stick. And the reason all this started is because Ian Begley reported, and this was his quote, "Next year, I would assume the starting backcourt is something different." And he's alluding to Evan Fournier. We know Jalen Brunson's going to be the starter, but there's reports that the New York Knicks front office is concerned about a pairing and a duo of Brunson and Fournier on the defensive end. And that's valid because Fournier's a below-average defender. Brunson's an average defender, and you need someone in the backcourt that's able to pick up the biggest defensive responsibility every night. And it ain't going to be Brunson, and it damn sure ain't going to be Evan Fournier. So that's why we're talking. Who should start, Cam Reddish or Quentin Grimes? So let's take a look at what they did last year. Reddish's stats are between the Hawks and the New York Knicks. He got traded midseason. He played in 49 games this year, 20 minutes per night, 10 points per game. That's solid, but efficiency is something where he was lacking. 40% from the field. He was solid from 3, 36%, but when he got to the Knicks, he shot about 27%. He was very inefficient. But Quentin Grimes, the numbers as a whole, when you look at it, 6 points per night, 40% from the deck, 38% from 3. The efficiency not really there, but 38% from 3 as a rookie is outstanding. But when Quentin Grimes got the minutes, which he did 15 times. In 15 games, he played more than 20 minutes. He balled out, averaged 12 points per game, a steal and a half, 44% from the field, and 44% from 3. When he got the opportunities, he took the most of it. He had 5 games where he made more than 4 3-pointers. And he also played more than 30 minutes per game 7 times. And in those 7 games, he averaged 14 minutes per night. I like Cam Reddish. I don't want anyone to think I don't. I don't think he's this all-star blossoming player waiting to happen, but I think he can be a solid piece off the bench and come, carry the offense for some nights for 15 to 22 minutes per night. But what this starting lineup needs, you have Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, 3 guys that are very ball dominant, 3 players that like to work from the 3-point line and down, and someone that would fit that, all those people that are ball dominant and need the ball to be effective, Quentin Grimes is not that player. He can run off ball screens. He can go up and get, around the three-point line and create space and be that catch-and-shoot player on this team in this starting lineup that the Knicks need. I think Reddish is more of an ISO player, needs the ball to put it on the deck and get to the hoop. And that is better off of the bench, in my opinion. We'll break this down a little bit more, but I want to ask you this question. Pick a starter for me. Who would it rather be? Would you rather roll with Cam Reddish? That's fine. I don't agree with you. You're not wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but type CR. Or if you're rolling with Quentin Grimes, you can go down and type QG. Grimes fits what the starters need, in my opinion, a little bit more. Like we talked about a second ago, RJ Barrett, Jalen, Brunson, Julius Randle. They are all ball-dominant players that need the ball in their hands to be effective. So does Cam Reddish. Quentin Grimes does not. He can spot up in that corner. He can run off-ball screens and down-ball screens to get open and create space in this offense. And I think that's what this, starting five needs. Reddish is better off the bench, in my opinion. He can come in and dominate the ball alongside Emmanuel Quickley and Evan Fournier and Obi Toppin and Isaiah Hartenstein. That backup five fits Reddish a little bit more. And when you look at this lineup once again, if you could have a backup five of Quickley, Reddish, Fournier, Obi Toppin, and Isaiah Hartenstein with Jericho Sims rotating in there every once in a while, that's a young group that would be very entertaining to watch. And it would let that group would let Reddish eat a little bit more. He would be the most prolific scorer off the bounce in that lineup. Quickley's great. Fournier's great at shooting, and Reddish would be that slasher that this lineup needed. So all in all, I would roll with Quentin Grimes as the starting shooting guard if a guy like Evan Fournier actually does come off the bench, like Ian Begley talked about a second ago. Look, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. I'll be down there reading them. Educate me, because look, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I love the Knicks and I love to talk about them. So let me know how you're feeling. And also, let's hit the real one roll call once again. We've been doing it all off season. There's been a lot of real ones that watch a lot of these same videos. I see in the comment section. This is your chance to show me that you're a real one. Type real one in the comment section if you made it this far in the video.